Now let's talk about trade. It's a crucial week for New Delhi. Talks with the United States are still on. They are aimed at breaking the tariff deadlock. Indian negotiators are also meeting key allies this week. Their goal is to build new trade partnerships, even as discussions with Washington continue. So where do things stand with the US? Last month, the talks had regained momentum, but how much progress has really been made? Now, conversations are still on, but it seems that both sides are still stuck on key issues. Over the weekend, External Affairs Minister Jaishankar spoke. He admitted that differences remain. In his words, India and the US have not arrived at a landing ground. That means negotiations are still in motion. Each side is searching for common ground, but India remains firm about its red lines.
Whatever happens, at the end of the day, there has got to be a trade understanding with the United States. There has to be one because it is the world's largest market, but also because it is, much of the world has reached those understandings. But it has to be an understanding where our bottom lines, our red lines are respected. In any agreement, there are things you can negotiate and there are things you can't.
The United States wants easier access to Indian markets. It's pushing for barrier-free trade, but that comes with risks. For India, it could hurt homegrown producers. Two sectors could be exposed, and this is agriculture and MSMEs, the micro, small and medium enterprises. These are the backbone of India's growth story, and that's why India is pushing back. New Delhi also wants to protect its energy sovereignty. Jaishankar addressed that issue as well. He spoke about Russia's oil purchases.
In addition, there is a second tariff, which we have said, we publicly said, we regard it as very unfair, which has picked on us for sourcing energy from Russia, when of course there are other countries who have done so, including countries who right now have a far more antagonistic relationship with Russia than we do.
So, no concessions on energy either. Remember, Donald Trump raised tariffs on Indian exports to 50%. That's among the highest in the world. Trump blamed India's Russian crude purchases for the high tariff, even though China remains Russia's biggest buyer. Now, Jaishankar's remarks point straight at that double standard, and they make India's position clear. New Delhi won't change its policy anytime soon. India will continue to buy Russian oil. Now, that message from Jaishankar is clear and directed at Washington. If the US wants a deal, it must meet India halfway. It must respect India's red lines and stop linking trade with pressure on energy or policy. So the talks with America will continue, but New Delhi isn't waiting. It's expanding its outreach, holding new rounds of trade talks with Europe and the Gulf. This week, India and the EU will take their negotiations forward in Brussels. Both sides are negotiating an ambitious trade pact, and this would be the 14th round of talks. Conversations with Europe have gathered pace ever since Trump kicked off his trade fight. So India and the EU can take a step forward this week. Now, similarly, India is holding talks with Qatar as well. This week, the Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal is in Doha. Again, this is to discuss a free trade pact. Minister Goyal is traveling with a high-level business delegation, so this could prove to be a crucial week. It could shape the road ahead for India's trade relationships. It might also open new doors, especially for the trade talks with the US. Because back in America, the patience of American farmers is being tested. Reports say American farmers are having a tough year. Trump's trade war has hit them hard, so much so that they may need a bailout. Apparently, the White House is discussing a package There's talk of a multi-billion-dollar bailout. Now, why is this necessary? Because farm bankruptcies are surging. They are at their highest since 2021, and that is a serious warning sign for Trump. Remember, farmers are a key political constituency for Trump. They helped him to win the last election. They bought into his tariff pitch, particularly in the red states. And now Trump's flagship policy is facing the ultimate test. New Delhi will be watching this closely. It would want to see how this situation shapes up. Perhaps this may create openings for India to reach out and narrow the gap on a trade deal.
Want the facts?
The latest developments?
News that gets straight to the point.
Well, we've got all three just for you. This is Firstpost Live, a brand new show, your window into what really matters.
Don't miss it.